Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. The headlines. Opposition PF member RAPHAEL NAKACINDA defies Speaker of the National Assembly. ACC accused of inflating figures involving the Gulfstream G650 presidential jet. Court okays KAIZA Zulu application for habeas corpus as he remains behind bars. In international news, cleaning operations continue in Kinshasa after deadly flooding. And in sports, last 4 teams in Qatar prepare for the final matches. Details coming through after this commercial.
Good news, good news. The rains have started. You need to plan your future. Generational wealth is the way to go. Has grafted avocado plants fruiting within 2 to 3 years for sale at only 90 kwacha each, and ordinary avocados at only 45 kwacha each. Contact us on 0979 753010 or 0962 965 883. We are open from 8 hours to 17 hours Monday to Friday at Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill, opposite Hilltop Hospital.
And now the main news in detail. A family of Mandevu compound in Lusaka are braving the rain after their family house was demolished Friday morning by a foreign national who has been claiming to have bought the house from one of the family members. In an interview with Camnet News, a family member, Telasi Chulu, explains that his now late grandfather built the house for his wife and grandchildren as his only son died. Mr. Chulu says the family is surprised to be thrown out by the person claiming ownership for their land while there is a stay of order from the High Court as the matter is still pending, awaiting a decision by the court.
This old woman of Lusaka's Mandevu compound along with her grandchildren have no idea on where they will spend Friday night or if their property, which has been thrown out in the open, will be shielded from the merciless rain that has been pouring in Lusaka of recent. Telasi Chulu, who is part of the affected family, explains that his grandfather built the house for his wife and their grandchildren as he only had one son who had passed on. He narrates that wrangles have however risen after his grandfather's death as some unknown people came to claim the house, stating that it was sold to them by one of their relatives, a named cousin. Mr. Chulu explains that the High Court, however, gave a stay of order on the property, meaning that it is yet to make a decision on the matter. The family, however, say their house was demolished at around 03 hours Friday morning and the gate locked, while their property has been left out in the open.
As you can see, all the things are outside. These people came in the morning today with the one who bought the house. I tried to take some pictures and some videos. One of the police officers who came with them, he grabbed me by the corner there, and he threatened me, and he told me that I should remove all the photos that I've taken and every video that I've taken. So I tried to refuse. Then he squeezed me into the corner. Then the other one also came. They grabbed my finger, put a fingerprint on my phone. Then they checked in my phone, they found the videos and the photos, they deleted them all.
And then the one who bought this house is the one who is threatening the old woman to go out of the house, knowing that he bought it illegal. This house is illegal, belongs to the old lady, because our father left this house for his grandchildren. This house belongs to the Telas Chulu family. It does not belong to anyone. And the one who bought this house, he bought it legal. Illegal. It's illegal. This place doesn't, it has been not for sale.
However, this matter is pending, is still in court. It's a legal issue because there is a stay of judgment which was obtained. Unfortunately, our colleague has reached this far in a illegal way, while knowing that there is a stay.
The old woman, Monica Chulu, who can barely speak, is devastated by the situation. Neighbors have also expressed their concerns.
So apaboma ibatandizire nje kulira kwatu isemane bazi yao na bazukuru bao nje basunga bazukuru
bakura bali pepo kutatibaza chitanani kandi amaye bakura bese na mwana umuzi anaenda mwana umuzi uyo anaenda anabasira bazukuru ni bambiri muntu afunika nkarako na 5 osatija vamene bachita bana step ino yayi.
The family has called on relevant non-governmental organizations to help them get justice. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Gospel Arts Zambia National Consultant Felix Piri has urged gospel musicians in Zambia to fight various vices through their music. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Piri notes that a number of problems are prevalent in the country, among them early marriages, child abuse, as well as drug and alcohol abuse. He has therefore urged gospel musicians to unite with a purpose and send out strong messages to discourage the vices. The GAZ National Consultant also noted that it is the duty of gospel musicians to promote unity in the country as well as call for respect for Zambian leaders.
And also we want to create one voice. We also want to raise a national worship, a national altar of worship, where we can also be able to help the nation in one or the other in terms of singing songs at national events, and also getting, participating in social corporate responsibilities, such as engaging in campaigns of discouraging illicit activities, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and also encouraging the young ones to pray, just to have the relationship with God, and also to discourage early marriages. We create sanity. So through this, we feel as artists we have got a role to play, and that we feel as an organization countrywide we can be able to tackle and help the government in one way or the other, and also supporting the cause of Zambia as a Christian nation. So we feel we have got a purpose to do in this generation, and also to the young people, and to the next generations. We also have a duty and a role to play.
Former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Stady Mwale, has accused the Anti-Corruption Commission of cooking up figures of the total amount that was used in the procurement of the Gulfstream G650 presidential jets. The Anti-Corruption Commission yesterday arrested former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Stady Mwale, for corrupt practices involving more than $573.9 million United States dollars in relation to the procurement of the Gulfstream G650 presidential jet. But in an interview, Mr. Mwale clarified that the actual total cost of procuring the presidential jet was 120 million United States dollars and not 573.9 million United States dollars as indicated by the ACC. Mr. Mwale further alleges that the statement issued by the ACC is not true, but propaganda meant to mudsling the previous regime to prove to the Zambian people that the previous regime was corrupt. He has described the recent arrest of most permanent secretaries of the previous regime as political persecution, stating that most of them are innocent of the allegation made against them. Mr. Mwale has since urged the New Dawn government not to politicize the office of the civil servants but respect them as they are the wheels of governing the country.
Yes, it's true, I'm arrested, together with the civil servants who are respected too much, who we respected too much when in the previous regime. Let's not run away from certain responsibilities by putting in awkward situations of our civil servants. Let us respect our civil servants. Let's not just smear mud on them and blame them for things that we are doing wrong ourselves. I'm arrested together with my civil servants. I feel very bad because they're very innocent. They're extremely, extremely innocent. I'm urging them to respect civil servants wherever they are because they are the machine to run this country. They are the ones who can help you run the country properly. So frustrating civil servants, the frustration should not come to me, should not go to the previous regime. So about 400, I'm going to end today on that 400 that you have heard. I want to make Zambians believe that, not to believe, but to tell them the truth that that money, no one should cheat that. The jet costed 400 million. No. The jet costed 120 million. The actual price for the jet was 70 million. The other 50 million is for things that we had put. I've told you that is not an ordinary jet. I'm not even supposed to say this. But you see, when people put it on the social media, put it in TVs, put it everywhere, it is just as good as reviewing the tunnels. It's as good as reviewing the tunnels because I think normal people shouldn't have spoken anything to do with Ministry of Defense.
Opposition Patriotic Front PF chairperson for Information and Publicity, RAPHAEL NAKACINDA, has refused to apologize before the Speaker of the National Assembly after being found guilty of what the Speaker termed as breaching parliamentary privileges and contempt of Parliament. Mr. NAKACINDA was reprimanded for issuing a statement in one of the newspaper's tabloids that the Speaker should stop being emotional when presiding over affairs of the House. This is in relation to a point of order raised by United Party for National Development UPND Lukuku East Member of Parliament Christopher Kalila, who had lodged a complaint against Mr. NAKACINDA after calling the statement published in one of the local tabloids as disrespectful to the Speaker.
Drama characterized Parliament Friday as Opposition Patriotic Front PF Central Committee member in charge of Information and Publicity RAPHAEL NAKACINDA refused to apologize after appearing on contempt charges raised by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti. Mr. NAKACINDA appeared this morning before the National Assembly so that the ruling against him for publishing an article in the Daily Nation newspaper last year where he called the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, emotional. Mr. NAKACINDA last year on several occasions when summoned before the Disciplinary Committee of the National Assembly proved to be untraceable and or did not show up before the committee. This comes after Lukulu East Member of Parliament had raised a point of order asking whether Mr. NAKACINDA was in order for issuing such a statement against the Speaker. Delivering a ruling in Parliament this morning on the matter, the Speaker, who had made reference to a number of authorities regarding the conduct and decorum of Parliament, says a private citizen's right to comment on Parliament proceedings has a limitation, thereby ordering Mr. NAKACINDA to render an apology.
In unprecedented. Such misconduct is unacceptable and unbefitting of your status as a person who previously served in this House, both as a backbencher and as an honorable minister. I therefore urge you to reform and desist from such misconduct in future. I now order you, Mr. NAKACINDA, to unreservedly apologize to the House for your disrespectful and contemptuous remarks.
Despite being guided to proceed to apologize, Mr. Nakachinda refused to comply, stating that he would not render an apology written by someone, adding that if he does such, he will be betraying his conscience.
I was actually more or less tricked into coming here. I thought...
Read the apology.
Madam Speaker.
Read the apology, Mr. Nakachinda.
The apology that I haven't written would be a betrayal to my conscience, a betrayal to the freedoms and rights...
Order, Mr. Nakachinda. Mr. Nakachinda, my guidance is that you should read the apology as required by the rules of the House. Apologize, because if you do not, you will be committing another offense against the National Assembly.
Madam Speaker, respectfully, you have read the ruling I've heard.
Order. Are you going to read the apology?
I will read, Madam Speaker, to honor and respect the Constitution of the Republic.
However, his refusal to apologize did not sit well with the Speaker, who ordered him out of Parliament, further adding that the appropriate action was going to be taken against him.
Order. Since you have refused to take my advice, I order you to leave the House. The National Assembly will take appropriate action in view of your refusal to apologize. Please leave the House.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front PF Member of Parliament have called on President Hakainde Hichilema not to sign the Security and Exchange Commission bill, which has passed third reading in Parliament. Addressing the media Friday, leader of the opposition in Parliament and Porokoso Member of Parliament Brian Munduwile said if signed, the bill will enhance corruption, as the current administration will ensure that only their interests are served. The bill seeks, among other things, limit the appointment of auditors from the discretion of the Zambia Institute for Chartered Accountants, ZICA, as this will also have to be approved by the Commission. Meanwhile, Lunte Member of Parliament Mutotwe Kafwaya says if assented to by the President, the opposition party will take it to court, as auditors have to be appointed by an independent body as the statute calls to ensure fairness in their work.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, which came to office in August 2021, has come strong on its agenda of transparency and ensuring that those who took part in illegal activities of corruption before its regime, as well as during its administration, are brought to book. Among the changes made to advance this agenda is the ongoing enactment of the Security Exchange Bill, which borders on the appointment of auditors, among other things, and has passed third reading after mainly being supported by members of Parliament from the UPND, who are in the majority. Patriotic Front PF members of Parliament have, however, urged President Hakainde Hichilema not to sign the bill, stating that only the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, ZICA, should be left with the privilege of appointing auditors, as is the status quo. Addressing the media Friday, Mporokoso Member of Parliament Brian Munduwile and Lunte Member of Parliament Mutotwe Kafwaya say including the Commission to have a say on selecting auditors may cause compromise, leading to only those in favor with the current administration to be selected.
We know how problematic this bill, when enacted into law, will be. We know very well that there are certain private entities, operators that are being targeted as we're talking to you now. It will not be long after this bill is signed that certain companies will be folding because their competitors have now acquired political power, and they can use the arrogance of numbers to come to the House, enact laws that will later go and disadvantage their competitors. Now, colleagues, the bill is basically on corruption in government, through policy, legislation, and administration.
Appointing auditors to audit them, in spite of the requirement of the ZICA Act, the Securities Exchange Commission will also set rules in terms of qualifying the audit. Now, what that means is this. Only those auditors who are friendly to certain individuals will be able to get jobs, audit jobs in that sector.
So if the minister can say there was wide consultation, how come one of the key players is actually coming out in the open? He said there was no wide consultation. We withdraw the bill, bring it back to the stakeholders, let us sit together and go through these provisions.
Meanwhile, Shiwangandu MP Stephen Kampyongo has spoken out on the 6-hour load management that commenced on 15th December 2022, stating that the PF left adequate power in the national grid.
Whose Christmas gift is this road shedding, which is also not justifiable, because as we were leaving, our government left in excess of 3,000 megawatts on the national grid. And the current Managing Director of ZESCO has confirmed this fact that we only need 2,000 megawatts. So where is the excess 1,000 plus going? So these are the issues that Wadia should be speaking to, and also helping our people, because this power is expensive and the load shedding is coming at a time when the prices of fuel have also gone up. So
they have challenged the current administration to walk the talk and deliver to the Zambian people. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Republican Progressive Party RPP acting President Cassius Akapelwa says Zambians should, with non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and help the United Party for National Development UPND to come up with policies aimed at reducing the cost of living in the country. In an interview, the RPP president says he has noted with dismay how some opposition political parties are mocking the current administration and accusing it of failing to live up to its promises, noting that reducing the cost of living is not an easy task. He adds that while stakeholders say the onus is on the current administration to lower the cost of living, it is unavoidable to attribute the current status to the former ruling Patriotic Front, as it was the sole purpose of the party when in government to improve the living standards of Zambians. He has therefore urged non-governmental organizations aiming at eradicating poverty to help the current administration government to brainstorm on effective policies that will result in poverty alleviation in Zambia.
What the government is doing, and President Hakainde Hichilema right now, is to fix the economic problems that would have landed ourselves in economic turmoil. So the process of cleansing the governance system and the treasury that was adopted, that was empty, is an ongoing process. So that said, let the Zambian people be assured that at a time when things are like this, it's a time that the unity of purpose should be at the center stage. Let us all be united and support the government, because we have leadership in place that is trying by all means possible to resolve the economic challenges that this country is facing. It's a fact that the commodities are hitting high, but at the end of the day, within the position of government where they're trying to clean the process to stabilize the economy, I think we've seen the inflation rate now is on a single digit. It's a process to get to the top. So where we are right now, I think the government is on the right trajectory, and let's support the president and let's support the government so that when everything is okay, it's for the many benefits for the Zambian people.
Former President Edgar Lungu's political advisor, KAIZA Zulu, has complained over his continued detention for several days without being granted bail. Mr. Zulu says officers have arrested him in relation to an immigration offense. However, efforts to have him appear before court or have him released by his lawyers on bond has proved futile. Mr. Zulu has since applied for habeas corpus, seeking in the Lusaka High Court a determination on the legality of his arrest and detention.
Detained former presidential political advisor KAIZA ZULUS complained that several days after his arrest, in relation to an immigration matter, he has not been taken to court. Mr. Zulu, who worked as a political advisor for the former President Edgar Lungu during the Patriotic Front administration, has since applied for habeas corpus, seeking in the Lusaka High Court legality of his arrest and detention. Mr. Zulu, who has cited the Attorney General in this matter, demands that his body be taken to court by the police so that the court can examine and determine whether his arrest and detention is legal. According to an affidavit in support of ex-party summons for leave to issue right of habeas corpus, he contains that on the 2nd of December 2022, he was granted bail by the Kafue Magistrate Court for the charge of assault. He met all the bail condition, and immediately after his release, he was apprehended by immigration officers right at the gate of Lusaka Central Correctional Facility. He submits that his lawyers informed them that he was in urgent need of medical attention as he was unwell, and in the company of immigration officers he was taken to the hospital. He has informed the court that immigration officers kept watching over him 24/7 while admitted, and sometimes they would prevent visitors, interrogate doctors and staff at the hospital about his status. Mr. Zulu, who has been in detention for almost 3 weeks, says his lawyers followed the immigrations with sureties to meet bail conditions for his release. However, they have continued to keep him in custody without being taken to court. The Lusaka High Court has since granted his application for habeas corpus, which will be heard on the 27th of December 2022. Mr. KAIZA Zulu still remains in custody, while before the magistrate court is facing an offense of concealing a government motor vehicle. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, a 30-year-old youth accused of using insulting language has changed his plea and now admitting the charge. This is in a case in which Fred Chulu, commonly known as Mr. Lee's employee of Helen Kaunda Township, is facing 3 counts of use of insulting language. It is alleged that Chulu, between 12th and 13th May 2022, did conduct himself on Facebook in a manner that provoked other people. When Chulu first appeared before Magistrate Mtinta Mwenya, he pleaded not guilty. He later stopped attending court sessions, prompting the court to revoke his police bond. When the case came up Friday, the accused informed the court that he wanted to change his plea. And when asked why he committed the offense, the accused says he uttered the words because some people posted a video online in which they accused him of being gay. He claims that they also accused him of selling girls to Chinese and further said the Chinese were just using him. The court has adjourned the case to January 30th, 2023 for reading of facts. You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more after this.
Start your own chicken business today with Harvard Efficiency Day or Chicks from Panda Hatchery. Excellent performance, disease resistance, high livability plus high weight gain, high meat health beds, strong and active. Panda Hatchery is located at plot number 6, Luwato Road, Roma, Lusaka, Zambia. Available every Monday. Call or WhatsApp us on 0976 039 379. Hubbard, your choice, our commitment.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is number one when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
A falcon, known for flying high speeds, unmistakably grace and flying incredible long distances. Falcon Express is equal to the task with your deliveries. Friendly and reliable, a company that cares for you, local and international coverage, company that empowers its customers on time, every time, all the time. Nationwide delivery.
Send your parcel through Falcon Express to Mongu, Kabwe, Ndola, Kapiri, Kitwe, Chingola, Chipata, Livingstone, Mazabuka, Kasama, Solwezi, Kalumbila, Chililabombwe, Luansha, Kalulushi. Get in touch with us on +260 971 130 766 and drop your parcels at Falcon Express. Falcon Express. Your parcels are safe with us.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the main news. Lumezi Town Council, under its 2022 Constituency Development Fund CDF, Secondary Boarding School and Skills Development Bursaries component paid a total sum of 690,380 kwacha, benefiting 157 underprivileged youths. Lumezi Town Council Public Relations Officer Evin Muyumbwa explains that under the secondary boarding school bursaries, a total of 116 learners comprising 56 females and 60 male, all drawn from 9 out of the 11 wards of Lumezi district, benefited from the 232,000 kwacha allocation under sponsorship periods ranging between 1 year to 4 years for grades 8 and 12. Mr. Muyumbwa further reveals that under the skills development component, only 41 out of the total 75 youths accorded government sponsorship reported to their various training institutions, translating to 458,380 kwacha paid at Chipata Trades, Nganani Kachinga Youth Resource Center, and Ukwimu Trades for those that reported. The council is meanwhile calling on parents, guardians, the church, civic and traditional leaders to make individual efforts in supporting government's efforts in improving the education sector by applying for such opportunities.
Under the secondary boarding school bursaries, we have a total of 116 learners who comprise 56 female and 60 male, all drawn from 9 out of 11 wards within the Lumezi district did benefit, and we have a total allocation under this particular component, sum of 232,000 kwacha, and this is under a sponsorship period ranging between 1 to 4 years, that is for grades 8 to 12. Now, under the skills development component, the council did also receive or has on record a total of 41 out of 75 youths were accorded government sponsorship, reporting to their various institutions. That means we do have quite a number of them that never reported as well. So of the 41 students that we have in the various vocational training institutions, we have paid out a total of 458,380 kwacha for these particular youths, and they are training at Chipata Trades, Nganani Kachinga Youth Resource Center, and Ukwimu Trades. That is for those that reported. Now, as a local authority, we want to make a clarion call on parents, guardians, the church, civic and traditional leaders.
Police in Mongu district have apprehended about 32 suspected notorious criminals junkies who have been terrorizing residents in the areas for some time now. This was after a night patrol in selected areas, which included the Central Business District. Western Province Commissioner of Police Fambo Siame revealed the development to Zanis in Mungu in an interview. Mr. Siame said the command had been receiving numerous complaints from members of the public about attacks by unknown persons, especially at night. He said police have been conducting night patrols which have led to the arrest of the suspected attackers, who he said were relatively young. Mr. Siame has since appealed to members of the public to be cautious, especially during this festive season, to avoid being attacked and robbed. According to Zanis investigations, one of the breeding areas for criminals is the infamous Dark City, a growing suburb near Mungu CBD.
As the Western Division, we have recently been receiving reports and handling cases to do with the junkies, the so-called junkies, where members of the public have been targeted and attacked by some group of young men. As the police here in Western Province, we have actually been having patrols, conducting patrols, and last week we arrested about 32 people, some of them suspected to be junkies, out of which 2 were actually found with the cannabis and 1 with an offensive weapon, which is a knife. As we approach this festive season, we wish to appeal to the members of the public to be very careful as they move, especially during the night, when these times there's likelihood of coming across these junkies.
First Lady Mutenta Hichilema says myths surrounding autism are adversely affecting the well-being and development of autistic children in the country. Mrs. Hichilema has observed that myths rob the autistic children of the opportunity to share normal lives, to participate and enjoy the fundamental tenet of growing, learning, playing and development like any other children. Zanis reports that the First Lady said this in a speech read on her behalf by Central Province Permanent Secretary Miuna Mwanakambwe after he received a donation of Christmas hampers for children with autism at Caleb Center worth over 18,000 kwacha from QATAR Zambia Foundation.
First Lady Mutenta Hichilema's vision and passion to build a better future for children with autism has become a reality when she handed over Christmas hampers to children with autism at Caleb Center in Kabwe District. Central Province Permanent Secretary Miuna Mwanakambwe handed over the hampers to Caleb Center for children with autism on behalf of the First Lady.
There are children that at times we think we cannot expose to the public when they are very genius children. These children are extremely intelligent children. Yet, because of who they are, we decide to keep them away from the public. The message from the First Lady is that this center must be the pace setter. And she is willing, working together with the Caleb Center management and other cooperating partners, to go an extra mile.
The Christmas hampers have been made possible by Trevor and Roren Square of QATAR Zambia Foundation at a cost of over 18,000 kwacha.
I think it's what a fantastic job the team and the centre have been doing for the children and the needs for all the children. That's, you know, it's very difficult when you've got children that need constant care and attention. So we just thank you for the opportunities that we can be here to serve and honour and help your all the children at the centre here. They are the future of Zambia, and they also do need care, and they need wherever support and help is needed. It is required, and we just, on behalf of the First Lady and everyone here, what a fantastic job you're all doing, really. And the fact that we could align it with my wife to come in together to put the ball on the new site that's already been commissioned, for that to grow. We would love to see the centre grow, even triple, and accommodate more people.
Nelly Lulu is the director for Caleb Centre for Children with Autism.
We are so grateful for honouring us with your presence, and it is a reminder that you care about the special needs constituencies to which we belong, and to the squares, words will never be enough to express our joy and happiness since you made the decision to join the Caleb Centre family. Things have been moving in the right direction, so as everybody else that has been on board. We want to say thank you for your generous gift to the Caleb Centre families. We are thrilled to have your support through your donation. We've been able to add, this donation will be able to add to food security in our homes as we continue working towards independent living, skills acquisition and inclusiveness of the autism constituency in the mainstream. You truly make a difference for us and we're extremely grateful.
Daniel Billy for the Next News in Kabwe, Central Province.
International and sports news coming through right after this commercial.
You know, I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You've heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Cabbages, onions, maize, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies. At Raingrow, we supply great quality irrigation for the mentioned crops and more at an affordable price. Get our 2,000 meter flat drip for as low as 2,900 kwacha. Or our 500 meter round hose for 1,300 kwacha. Customize your own spacing with our 500 meter blank round hose going for 1,200 kwacha, ideal for orchards such as avocado, mango, banana, oranges, etc. Rainglow Irrigation, best quality, best price.
Welcome back. We now get into our international item. Cleaning operations are underway in DRC's capital Kinshasa following torrential rains earlier this week. In some of the worst hit areas near the Makelele Bridge, residents are struggling to cope from the loss of both loved ones and property. According to the authorities, an estimated 120 people lost their lives. In other news, the last contingent of French troops left the Central African Republic on Thursday following a chill in relations caused by a closer relationship between Bangui and Moscow. Former colonial power France sent troops to the country after a coup in 2013 unleashed a civil war along sectarian lines. For many, the departure of the French troops means responsibility for protection lies now with the government. Over the last few years, friction intensified between France and CAR over a mounting Russian military presence in the country. Last year, Paris decided to suspend military cooperation. Here's a roundup of international news.
Cleaning operations are underway in DRC's capital, Kinshasa, following torrential rains earlier this week. In some of the worst-hit areas, near the Makele Bridge, residents are struggling to cope from the loss of both loved ones and property. According to the authorities, an estimated 120 people lost their lives. The water came from Fond Makilele directly to our homes. It caused damage. We're victims. We've lost money, our property, but no one's come to see us, whether it's the mayor or the neighborhood chief. It has been 3 days since the authorities came to visit us.
Donc, ça fait déjà ce qui 3e jour que toujours là. Et attendons pour à la visite.
According to the authorities, most of the deaths were on hillside locations where there had been landslides. Some blame corruption for the lack of drainage. According to the state, when the sewage is cleansed, the dirt must not remain there. It must be cleared and discarded. But when the cleanup was done, engineers threw the dirt here. Even when you show them that there is a water path, they are corrupt. So they act for the people who corrupt them. With the rain, the dirt they left caused severe flooding because of them. Located on the Congo River, Kinshasa has seen a huge population influx in recent years, driven by rampant urban development. The last contingent of French troops left the Central African Republic on Thursday, following a chill in relations caused by a closer relationship between Bangui and Moscow. For many, the departure of the French troops means responsibility lies now with the government. It is now up to the Central African authorities to take their responsibilities to protect the entire population of Bangui and the countryside. So there's not much more to say. When military forces arrive in the Central African Republic, they operate in support of the Central African Republic's armed forces. And when they think they achieve their objectives, their goals in the Central African Republic, it is perfectly normal for them to leave and return home. We think that all other forces still supporting the Central African Republic, such as the MINUSCA, Russian and Rwandan forces, might at some point need to leave our territory to respect the Central African Republic's state sovereignty and our army sovereignty. Earlier this year, France withdrew the last of its troops from former colony Mali after the military brought in Russian paramilitaries.
We now get into sports news. Football supporters and tourists gathered in central Doha on Thursday to relax during a 2-day break from World Cup games ahead of the finals of the biggest football event in the world. Moroccans have already come to terms with their defeat by France and are hoping to end their incredible run in the 3rd place against Croatia on Saturday. The final will pit Messi's Argentina against Mbappe's France, 2 nations determined to take home the trophy. France supporters, however, remain upbeat about the final outcome. France or Argentina soccer fans globally have to wait until Sunday afternoon to know who will lift the coveted trophy.
Football supporters and tourists gathered in central Doha on Thursday to relax during a 2-day break from World Cup games. Moroccans have already come to terms with their defeat by France and are hoping to end their incredible run with the 3rd place against Croatia on Saturday. I cannot describe my feeling as we reached the semi-final game. We were just at the edge of reaching the final game. There were referees' mistakes, players were tired, and they were not complying with the game with France, bad luck for Morocco. It is a historic achievement for the Arab and African countries that an Arab team has reached this level. The final will pit Messi's Argentina against Mbappe's France, 2 nations determined to take home the trophy.
Argentina is going to be the good team supporting all Latin American countries. For sure, he will be the winner for the World Cup.
But French supporters don't quite agree. We're going to win, we have to. We have a really good team. After what we saw on Wednesday, we fished in the midfield with the non-selection of RAPHAEL, but I think that in the end, we're going to do it. 3-1. France or Argentina? We have to wait until Sunday afternoon to know who will lift the coveted trophy. It is the culmination of a dream that has been growing for the last 3 weeks of fierce competition.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Opposition PF member RAPHAEL NAKACINDA defies Speaker of the National Assembly. ACC accused of inflating figures involving the Gulfstream G650 presidential jet. Court okays KAIZA's ZULU application for habeas corpus as he remains behind bars. In international news, cleaning operations continue in Kinshasa after deadly flooding. And in sports, last 4 teams in Qatar prepare for the final matches. Before we go, our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Luke 1 verse 46, and it reads, Mary said, My soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior. The mighty ones have done great things for me. Holy is his name. Thank you for watching. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Compliments of the season.